Hola, ¿qué tal amigas y amigos? Yo soy Claudia Arcelia.
Mi nombre es Olaf, santana.
Y estamos en este canal que se llama Tour de Vida. Y en esta ocasión nos fuimos hasta Valle de Santiago, Guanajuato, donde tuvimos la oportunidad de estar en la 10ª edición del Festival de Cine de Terror y Suspenso SUSTEFEST. Y ahí entrevistamos a personalidades del cine internacional.
Tuvimos el privilegio de contar con la presencia de Mick Garris, Sandra Becerril, Christian Matheson y Connolly, los cuales estaban presentando su libro Nightmares, el cual es una antología de terror, que son unos cuentos escritos por ellos, que es la primera vez de que se presentan en español. Estos son traducidos por Sandra Becerril.
También se dio la presentación de este libro que se llama Sucedió en Valle de Santiago, que cuenta relatos e historias que acontecen precisamente ahí en Valle de Santiago y está contado por personas de la ciudad. Y la verdad es que, como siempre, estamos bien agradecidos y bien contentos de que nos reciban como estuviéramos en casa en el Festival SUSTEFEST. Christian Matheson es un escritor estadounidense de ficción de terror. Es hijo del también escritor Richard Matheson, quien escribió la novela Soy Leyenda. Es autor de más de 100 relatos cortos de horror psicológico y realismo mágico, que se encuentran en más de 150 antologías importantes y en sus colecciones de relatos Scar and Other Distinguished Marks, Distopía y Surpraxis. Ha trabajado como escritor en obras como Chemistry, Master of Horror, Cuentos de la Cripta, Kit, El Auto Increíble, El Increíble Hulk, Equipo A, Nightmare and Dream Escape, From the Stories of Stephen King y Big Driver. Actualmente adapta una novela de Stephen King y de George R.R. Martin para series de streaming.
Connolly comenzó a escribir profesionalmente a principios de la década de 1980, con historias que aparecían en las revistas Amazing Stories y Rod Serling Twilight Zone, algunas de las cuales se reimprimieron en volúmenes de Your Best Horror Stories, editada por Carl Edward Wagner. Su historia Echoes ha sido la base de 2 cortometrajes, el primero de Steve Muscarella y el segundo de Rodney Altman. Las historias de Connolly están disponibles en varias colecciones: Visions, This Way to Egress y Voices, entre otras. Voices fue finalista para el premio Bram Stoker. Connolly es también el autor de las novelas del ciclo de Venas, thrillers sobrenaturales ambientadas en el Pensilvania rural. Es co-guionista de la antología Nightmare Cinema del fragmento basado en su historia This Way to Egress, junto con el director David Slade, protagonizada por Elizabeth Racer.
Well, in the best relationship, the writer and the director have a common point of view, a common vision. It doesn't always work that way, but it's a very important relationship.
Okay. Yeah, it's very important for working because they have to have a similar vision of the story, but also like a writer, I think you have to let the story go in the hands of the director and trust in you.
It's a collaborative process, isn't it? When we write, we just write the words and we're in total control. But when we work with others, producers, directors, actors, it becomes a collaboration. And sometimes magic happens. Most of the time magic happens. Sometimes it doesn't. You gave me some good advice. We were on the set of Nightmare Cinema and the director was making a decision. And I said to Mick, I don't think that sounds like what I wrote, but I'm going to keep my mouth shut. And you said, that's always the best way.
Yes, yes. You cannot have that moment with the director. Once you hand it over, it becomes the director's artistic expression.
And as a writer myself, as well as a director and producer, I have respect for the written word, but I also know when it's time to pull away and let the director be the final word. But knowing I was the one who chose these writers and put them together with the directors. Larry and Ryu and David already had a relationship, but I put Sandra with Ryu Hikimura because I knew they would have a similar taste in film. And Richard and Joe Dante had worked together many times before, including on other shows that I've been in. So I knew they would have a similar sensibility. So it's always important to find like sensibilities to make that magic Larry was talking about. A vision, a filmmaker who presents something in a way that you're not used to seeing. Somebody who arrests your attention and goes, oh my God, I never would have thought of doing it that way. Someone who doesn't put it on, but that's part of who he is. I want to see he or she. I want to see the filmmaker's personality on the screen, not just the story. It's something that's embroidered with a sense of artistry and unique vision that you don't see everywhere else. And that's really hard to do because it can seem masturbatory, it can seem artificial, or it can seem organic. And if I'm watching a movie that it captures me, I care less about the style than I do about the substance, but if you can have both and stand away from everything else, be original, that's what works for me. I wish. No, it's a matter of never giving up. You know, there have been Nightmare Cinema took 12 years to get going. Desperation took 8 years to make, and that's a Stephen King project. You have to believe in it. You have to know when it's time to give up, when it's not worth it, or know that your project is something that if your heart and soul is in it, that you can convince other people that their hearts and souls are in it as well.
And the other thing is that the executives come and go.
Yeah.
So if you can wait for a new regime of executives to come in, they might feel differently about it.
That's a good advice.
Yes.
Sandra Becerril es una reconocida escritora mexicana. Ha publicado novelas en México, Estados Unidos, España, Canadá, Venezuela, Cuba y Argentina, como son La calle de las brujas, Suspiro azul, El nombre de las nubes, Antes de mí, después, La noche de los piratas, ¿A quién estás pensando matar?, Ámame más y Valle de fuego. Es también traductora y escritora de la antología Nightmare, en la que también participan Christian Matheson, Laurel C. Connolly y Mick Garris. Es reconocida como la escritora de terror más prolífica e importante de su generación. Es también reconocida por trabajos en la pantalla grande como El escondite, Desde tu infierno, Están aquí y Nightmare Cinema.
Mick Garris es un productor, director y guionista estadounidense, conocido como el maestro del horror. Tiene numerosas novelas de terror publicadas en todo el mundo y es reconocido por ello. Por su carrera de 30 años dedicada al terror, ha sido homenajeado en festivales como Sitges, Serbian, Fangoria, etc. Es conocido por sus adaptaciones al cine de novelas de Stephen King y por ser el creador de la serie de televisión Masters of Horror. Ha trabajado en películas y series como Hocus Pocus, Critters 2, La Mosca 2, Riding the Blood, Nightmare Cinema, Amazing Stories, Quicksilver Highway, Masters of Horror, Restoration y Cuentos de la Cripta.
Response,
Yeah.
a rejection of the Catholicism leading to stories of exorcism and religious horror is quite exciting, and I think that's an important element of Latin American cinema that I really enjoy. But there's color and passion, the primary colors, not subtle colors. You have bright red, blood red, you have orange, yellow and blue and green, not gray, not pink, but really expressive, passionate colors.
Its horror is a reflection of the culture. If you look at Scandinavian horror, it's very gray and very bleak. Russian horror is very oppressive and even more bleak. But the whole Latin feeling of everything is very alive, very full of passion.
I love the magic realism of Mexican horror, and it is the magic, and I see it here too when I'm visiting. The magic is everywhere, and it's not something that we would stop and say, well, that's not right, that's not the way the world works. But we see the magic and we say, oh, that is the way the world works. And I think one of my favorite films of the last few years is, the English title is Tigers Are Not Afraid, which does such a great job of blending the magic and the real and the horror.
Normal, very kind, but in one moment you mind twist and you start writing horror. I mean, like literature, not like
Well, it's very therapeutic. It's very therapeutic to write horror, and you feel more balanced inside. It's like an exorcism. It's an exorcism itself.
Horror comes from feeling like you don't belong, from feeling like an outsider. And I think most of us grew up not being the popular kids in school, not being the school president, and identifying more with the other, the monster, than with normal society. So it's deeply ingrained. Horror, more than anything, is about death and the fear of death or the acceptance of death. It's about social taboos. You know, it's not something you choose. I didn't choose to write horror. Horror chose me. And I'm happy to live there. And it is, as Richard said, an exorcism of fear. And you're facing your fears in a very safe way, rather than shooting kids in a school or voting for Donald Trump.
Yes, it's...
They're on the same level.
It's catharsis, it's the purging, and this is something that's always been part of literature. It's always been one of the reasons why we write and one of the reasons why we read and go to shows. So when Sophocles was writing, he wasn't writing for cinema, but he was writing for the stage. And he wrote in such a way that you would watch it and you would be so horrified while you were watching it, but you could then get up and walk away and say, I feel better. That's not my life. I can walk away from that. But you also know when that happens that you can work through those things in a story, so that later, if you have to work through something horrible in life, you're ready.
But the sweetest people. Oh, sorry.
I think you and I were going to probably say the same thing. The horror writers are notoriously friendly, sunny people.
And pussies. Yeah, I mean, the horror people get it out. And they don't repress or suppress. And that's really important. So, you know, you meet Stephen King or Clive Barker or John Carpenter, they're just the nicest people in the world.
I like to serve people. I mean, I remember when I was 6 or something that I saw Nightmare on Elm Street, and I couldn't sleep like for 3 years, and it was great. I need a nap. So I couldn't sleep, and I was thinking how basically how he took that from me. I wanted to take dreams from him, you know. So he was the man of my nightmares. Yeah.
Well, horror, part of the definition of horror is grotesque. And horror is real. And horror is supposed to not be polite. It's to confront you with things that are not part of polite society. I am not a fan of torture porn or gore movies unless it's in the service of a story. I think anybody has the right to do that. And it's a valid it's valid to just throw guts against the screen if that's what you want to do. Salvador Dali did the fantastic film Un Chien Andalou, where you've got a razor slicing through an eyeball. You have ants emerging out of the palm of a hand. And this is in the days of silent film in the 1920s. And that was so powerful, people vomited in the movie theater. But it was also great art. I'm not saying that everything that's done in the horror genre is great art. In fact, I would say 90% of it is shit. But the good stuff is better than anything else, because not only, first of all, great horror means it's got to be great drama first. So on top of that drama, you need to amplify an atmosphere, little tension, suspense, all of that. So for me, the line is drawn where I feel it's cruelty. I hate rape scenes. I hate real vicious violence without a point, unless the point is to show the inanity and insanity of that violence. So for me, I do have limits. But in producing Masters of Horror, for example, we're working with Takeshi Miike. He did some things in his film that really were hard for me to take. It's hard for me to watch. My job was to protect his right to fulfill his vision, no matter how grotesque it is.
I think that at the center of the issue is the question is, will the film affect the viewer? And will it cause a repetition of the images they see? I don't believe that. I don't think art is instructive. I don't think that that's what art awakens.
Watching a murder doesn't make you a murderer.
No, and watching a saint doesn't make you beneficent. But I agree that anything that is what feels to me just seeking an effect, just an effect of shock, that does not feel like.
I remember reading The Stand and getting to the part very early on where the character who's escaping from the chemical plant and his whole family is infected is dying and is driving into a gas station and is maybe going to blow up by running over the pumps. And I remember thinking to myself at the time, why am I reading this? And then I turned the page. So I think that the writer has to trust his vision and his sense and go ahead and go to the place where the story is taking him or her, because that's what the reader wants the writer to.
And I think maybe the best person to answer this, because her segment in Nightmare Cinema, Mashit, is so unbelievably over the top, and the slaughter of children in a church is Sandra. So that's an answer.
I want to answer that in Spanish, okay?
Okay, I'll practice mine.
Es que es muy divertido. Por ejemplo, lo que dice de Nightmare Cinema es cierto. Tuvieron que cubrir la parte de las cámaras, tuvieron que cubrir a los demás con impermeables para que no les aplicara la sangre. Pero no era lo que yo creo que está más allá de límites al poner sangre porque sí. O sea, si hay una razón para ponerla, porque la historia lo está pidiendo, o algún tipo de violencia, yo creo que se puede hacer. Sin embargo, si es nada más por ponerlo, pues entonces no sirve de nada.
It's one of the reasons we make fantastic horror. We want it to be realistic, we want it to be believable, but it equips us, it gives us strength to deal with horror. You know, most of the people, the writers, producers, directors of the genre are sensitive people who respond to that and are repelled by it and want to take action and be involved in correcting the world and helping the world become a better place. And one of the ways we can do that in a very mild-mannered way is to create horror that is of a fantastical nature and yet set in a very real world. And I think it's like lifting weights. You know, watching horror films equips you for a real world.
Well, right now in our country, there's nothing more horrific than Donald Trump. And so,
shoot him.
Yes, so all horror seems pale. The devastation that can be wrought by one person, that's real horror.
Ok, sí, yo creo que hay una línea que divide el terror real de lo que nosotros hacemos, y creo que nosotros lo hacemos para entretener, para distraernos precisamente de todas las cosas que pasan. Pero en el mundo real yo creo que ningún tipo de violencia es permitida. Y puedo asegurar que la verdad es que la mayoría de los escritores que conozco son súper pacíficos y están a favor de todas estas causas y sí utilizan la voz para hablar por los más débiles, por decirlo de otra manera, ¿no? No siempre se puede hacer, pero sí hay una línea que divide todo eso.
Muchas gracias por ver este video y si te gustó, no olvides suscribirte y darle like.
Recuerda compartir el video si te ha gustado con todos tus amigos y no olvides presionar el botón de la campanita para que te lleguen las notificaciones cuando subamos un nuevo video. Bueno, muchas gracias. Bye.
No, to Vida.